Hi there, Mo. So you've written your first set of essays. Let's get straight into it. The first one is about schools, if they should be entertaining or if they should only educate. Let's see what you said. The role of schools has been increasingly changing for the past few years. It is a contentious issue amid people whether schools should entertain students more than ever before or uphold their main objective in terms of education. In my opinion, I think it is imperative to adopt more entertainment activities which have to be parallel with schools' curriculum. Okay, clear, nice vocabulary, good language, no problems. Let's move on. Entertainment in schools has many benefits for both students and teachers. This is because of the healthy environment which is created by such activities. Take, for example, a team-building activity like cooking will establish strong ties between students and their teachers and also would promote a better educational culture. Why? Why would it do this, Mo? Besides, students will develop extra skills such as critical thinking skills and inculcating teamwork behavior. As a result of this, teachers often get training on how to support the educational journey with a Y of their students using a variety of recreational activities. Okay, that one element for me was missing here. It would promote a better educational culture. You have to explain to me why. Because of the strong ties, or I mean, how does cooking with your teacher and your classmates help create a better educational culture? So that was what, for me, really required a little more development and a little more analysis. Let's move on. Moreover, despite the I don't know about this placement of only here. Despite the old-fashioned role of schools, I don't know. I understand what you're trying to say, but I can't really fix it. Let me get rid of only and see if we can fix it in a different place. Moreover, despite the old-fashioned role of schools to only educate, I think this is what you're trying to say, entertainment could make the learning process fun and enjoyable. I don't know if I like that sentence, Mo. I don't think despite is what you want to say. I think you mean something totally different. So, moreover, even though the old-fashioned role of school is to solely educate, entertainment could make the learning process fun and enjoyable. I think this is what you mean. This is due to the fact that students will perceive the function of schools differently. For instance, a trip to a country's national museum is a sort of entertainment to many people. However, the impact on students is that they will appreciate and learn their country's history in an effective way. For these reasons, nowadays, people's perception of traditional objectives of schools has changed drastically. Okay. In conclusion, having mentioned the reasons why entertainment has to be conjugated, I don't think you mean conjugated, you mean a different word here, with education, it is evident to me that the traditional role of schools is rapidly changing with time. Therefore, it is sagacious that educational entities have to integrate modern entertainment methods into their curriculum. I don't really care for the word sagacious. I mean, it's a lovely word, and I like it in general, but it doesn't really fit here. It just feels very unnatural. It just feels like you're trying to use as many high-level vocabulary words as you can, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily appropriate in this context, okay? So, on the whole, I liked your essay. I did like it. I've already covered, I think, the areas that for me were, that maybe needed a little help. So let's go on to your next essay. Okay, this is the one about doing an enjoyable activity with a child, better skills, more creativity. Let's see what you said. It is believed by many that engaging a child in an exciting activity is better than reading for them. In my opinion, I firmly agree with that, since such a development would enhance a variety of skills and enhance your innovating thinking. Variety of a child's skills. It's a little too clunky when you say it would enhance a variety of a child's skills. So instead, let's just make it would enhance a variety of skills. And then you could add in a child and enhance their innovative thinking. But even the in a child there is not really necessary. Although reading for a child has been recommended by many, involving children in something enjoyable is the key to develop creative thinking. This is because reading is a passive way to interact with a child, whereas continuous engagement is an active learning process. Take, for example, This is a little awkward here. Take, for example, a comma. How about get rid of the take and then just say, for example, comma. Children can develop their cognitive skills if they're able to participate in simple games like puzzles, crafts with an S, or video games. Cognitive development does not only include ways to identify problems and to solve them, but also doing that in an efficient and creative way. Therefore, a child's developed creative thinking could pave the way for better personal and professional lives. Okay, I was good up to here. Let's say if they're able to participate in simple games. Okay. Okay, I understand. Okay, I got it. All right, it makes sense, so no problems. Let's move on then. In addition, there are a number of skills that can be better developed. Not in case of, I think you mean something else. Let's see. In addition, there are a number of skills that can be better developed through active engagement with children. Social and emotional development, well, they're two separate things, aren't they? Social and emotional development are significant skills that reflect how a child can interact with people around them. For instance, now you know that if you really want to be a purist, you would say how a child can interact with people around him. We do this nowadays, rather than using the gender-specific him, we do use them. It could be considered a grammatical mistake, but I guess it's acceptable, so let's not worry about it too much. Okay, so for instance, the ability of children to understand relationships, especially those with which they have had a shared experience. All right, that's not a full sentence because there's no real verb here. So you're missing part of the sentence here. Speech and language development is another skill where a child can communicate effectively with the world. For instance, activities that make children create role plays are a great way to develop scenarios and invent expression using complex phrases. Thus, the impact of a two-way communication, the impact of two-way communication is evident in terms of the skills a child could develop. All right, I'm not a huge fan of the way you've developed this paragraph. Partially because you didn't really refer to, with the exception of role plays in the first half of the paragraph, you didn't really tell me what these activities are. So you told me that social and emotional development, but then you didn't tell me how they would do this, and so this is really confusing for me. So when you don't really give me a tangible example of an activity where they would gain social and emotional development, it just feels very theoretical with no real anchor to explain and to illustrate what you're talking about. All right, so in conclusion, it is blatantly obvious. Get rid of this A here. You don't need it. It's the wrong. It's not blatantly. It's blatantly. So it is blatantly obvious to me that entertaining a child in a captivating activity is the ultimate way to develop their creative thinking and inculcate many skills. It is also sagacious to implement more creative and well-studied techniques to empower children's experience rather than only reading to them. Okay. So again, we have this word sagacious. Like I said, it's a word I like. I really do. I don't think it fits here, though. Remember that sometimes clarity and simplicity are more effective than just showing the examiner that, hey, I know a handful of really high-level words. Okay, it's more effective in communicating your meaning, and ultimately that's what's important. Now, you decided in this essay to focus on different skills and to focus on different activities to help develop those skills, like creativity, like social and emotional skills. I'm going to suggest something else to you. Look at the task. It said it was comparing activities. It was comparing an adorable activity and comparing it to reading. So I'm going to give you some food for thought today and suggest that perhaps rather than just one-sidedly talking about these enjoyable activities, perhaps you could have spent a paragraph talking about why we're even discussing reading here. Why is reading even on the table as a potential activity to help develop creativity and other skills? So once you develop that in your first body paragraph, you can then go on in your next paragraph to say, well, yes, it's lovely, but, okay? So that's what I would suggest. It's one of the ways you can do it, and especially when we're aiming at a higher band score, this is something that we really need to think about. We need to really read into the question. For them to have put reading here as a subject for comparison, then perhaps the writer should address it and analyze it a little bit rather than just going one-sidedly into what he believes are better options. Okay, so this is my suggestion for you as you continue in the course and as you continue writing essays for us, that maybe you need to think a little more in this fashion. Okay, so go ahead and correct these essays now. That's your first step. You have to correct them and then return those files back to us. Also, you need to create an error correction list. In that list, what you will do is you will write down all the errors that were pointed out to you, and right next to them you will write what the suggested correction is. After you do that, you will also create your new essays, okay? And you will send us those 3 things. Now, as far as your error correction list goes, that's something that you should add to with each subsequent video correction you receive, okay? Just keep adding to it so you can study what your mistakes are and avoid repeating them in the future. Go ahead, get this started, and let's meet back here to see your next set of essays, okay? Good luck. Good job with this first set. I'm looking forward to seeing more of your work.